Welcome back to Studio F. We're on Fast Times with Willy B. We'll be talking about Saltburn. Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
Russell!
Welcome back to Fast Times with Willy B. I'm Willy B. Got Kory back yet again. You know, the default guest.
The default. That makes me feel real good.
No, it's because if you haven't already, go subscribe to Patreon, our Patreon movie mag, patreon.com/themoviemag, if you want to check out spoiler-free reviews.
Yes.
Written
In
reviews.
written form.
Yeah.
As things were intended.
Fun magazine, movie content. But anyways, we're here today to talk about Saltburn.
We have our slander on print because it's liable. So, yes, Saltburn.
Saltburn, directed by Emerald Fennell. Mm-hmm. Some decently known names, big names. Barry Keoghan in this one. Mm-hmm. Jacob Elordi.
Yes, absolutely.
Right back with us here in November.
And Richard E. Grant is not unfamous.
Yeah, Richard E. Grant, Rosamund Pike, Allison Oliver, and Archie Madekwe.
Oh, yeah, from
Gran Turismo. Kind of making a name for himself here in 2023.
You know what? I like seeing him again. I hope I keep getting those jobs, buddy.
Exactly. So we'll do the usual, the good, the meh, and the bad. So let's start with the good.
Everything is amazing. No, I'm just kidding. There's a lot of good things to read.
There was a lot of good things. Oh, across the board, I don't think there's a bad one.
Barry Keoghan, obviously the best one.
Just
Holy
proving
crap.
his worth yet again. And
I already thought highly of him too, but
the crazy part is this is his first major lead. He's been. Yeah. It feels like most of his career, and I might be wrong. I might not be. Something might be not coming to mind right now, but it feels like most movies he's in, he's supporting.
Yeah, I mean, even if we talk about movies like Killing of a Sacred Deer or whatever, the lead's more as far as I know, Colin Farrell, right?
Yeah,
that's been on my list.
Same with Banshees of Inisherin. It's more Colin Farrell.
He's definitely supporting.
And he killed it in that movie.
I would have given him supporting for that.
And he was my pick for Best Supporting Actor last year.
Understood.
Not mad with where it went, but
sure, absolutely. But good lord.
And then superhero movies too. I thought he was the best performance in Eternals.
Yeah. I really thought you were going to say the Batman. I was like, really? Sorry, yeah.
Well,
no, in Eternals, he is the best Eternal. He's my favorite.
Mine too.
He's top 2 Eternal. I don't want to say which one's my favorite, but oh god, I think he's actually amazing in Eternals.
And I think he does it again right here with another award.
He just broke through another
nominee-worthy performance.
Yeah, I think he broke through another ceiling right here with this one for me. I honestly didn't think I could think higher of this dude, but holy crap, man.
Yeah.
This probably is my favorite performance from him.
Oh, I would agree.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Oh, God,
and
terrific.
That's not to slight his other performances, but he's proven his worth.
Yeah, he's you know what else I like about him? He's not very contemporary or he's not very traditional. He's kind of an odd guy. He's an odd duck for sure. I mean, even he even kind of looks weird. They mention his eyes specifically. Him and Cillian Murphy got some really striking eyes, especially in this movie. They emphasize it and things like that. But God, man, and that doesn't mean he's ugly. He doesn't look weird, but he's just different. Something different about him, you know.
Yeah. And the rest of the cast did great as well. I thought this was probably my favorite performance from Elordi as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's my favorite Elordi performance too.
Yeah.
For sure. Especially after seeing he's good in Priscilla, Euphoria. He's pretty good, but he's just being a dickhead in high school. I've never seen The Kissing Booth, so I imagine he's okay in those.
It's what you get from a Netflix original.
Sure. After seeing I'm glad I saw this after Priscilla, because after Priscilla I was like, yeah, maybe he's not as good as I thought he could be. No, he could be pretty good when put in the hands of a good director.
Did really good here, and I thought all the supporting characters did a phenomenal job too. I thought Allison Oliver was great as Phoenicia, the younger sister. Archie Madekwe, we know we talked about him, great performance in Gran Turismo as a lead role. Great job supporting role here in this one, playing the cousin, Farley, or as they say in the movie, Folly.
Folly.
It sounds like Folly with the
British accents.
The English accent, yeah. Everybody in this family that lives at Saltburn, which is the premise of this movie, did a great job.
Absolutely, and what a strange. I don't even know how you direct, and this is actually more credit to the director probably, but I don't even know how you get actors to do what they're doing in this movie. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's such a weird flow in those scenes of the family. I had no idea, I have never seen any conversations like that before.
Yeah.
Something about it was so strange and like messed up and kind of dark and just weird and twisted. That family is nuts, man.
It's a movie you're watching, and the way they talk and the way they act, you feel like it's set back like 50 years.
Yeah.
But this is today. This is a modern day film.
Well, what's funny is it actually says, because it says the timeline of things or whatever, and it stops in like 2008, 2009. So I actually think it's set a little, which if it is, I feel like we're in that pocket where it's weird to set things in the early 2000s because it hasn't been long enough yet or something.
Well,
but it also should be because it was 20 years ago almost now. But it just, I don't know, something about it was kind of strange.
Less than 2 decades is the setting of this movie. And
it feels kind of timeless, honestly. I feel like this could work if you wanted to pretend it was the 70s. Something about it kind of
reminded me of like the it gives you that vibe, yeah.
It's those like bar scenes and stuff. It's all that woody, Christmassy kind of vibe to it, whatever. It's just
for sure
very warm.
But yeah, I mean, like you said, the cinematography too.
Cinematography was actually very striking to me. Yeah. This is... When it comes to cinematography-wise, this might be my pick for best cinematography all year.
Yeah.
I expected some decent cinematography. There were some great shots, and I even told you this. My favorite shot all year of any movie might have been from this.
Yeah.
There's a scene where Ollie is tracking Felix when he's about to have sex with a girl during Ollie's birthday party. And he has the horns on, and it's dark, and it's misty as hell. And he's standing at the entrance of this maze, which is like a bush maze, like in Harry Potter 4, right? And he's just standing at the entrance. And he almost looks like the Headless Horseman or something, the way he's shrouded in shadow. And there's a little bit of like pink light or something, I think, hitting too. But the horn sticking out, whatever. That was the moment where I was like... Something really messed up is going to happen here. Because that like, there's a lot of imagery with, like, red lighting in this, too.
Yes,
I was feels like demonic at
One
times.
of my favorite shots is after an untimely death, which we'll dive into the story here in a second. After the first death, they close the curtains.
At the dinner table.
And the red curtains make the room kind of look like a red room. That you would be like, doing photography in. Yeah. And I really liked the aesthetic of the reds.
Yeah, there was a lot of it. Like during his birthday party too, I think there were a couple rooms that were just all red.
Red and blue, then
Yeah, there were some really beautiful blues in this too. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. Honestly, I really appreciate the color about this. There's a lot of like pinks in there and shit too. It was like Blade Runner 2049 at some point. It was strange.
Kind of gives Suspiria too.
You know what? That's perfect. Suspiria is the best way to explain
especially
that.
The birthday party.
One of my favorite color palettes.
Oh, me too.
Any movie.
The birthday party really felt like Suspiria's color grade.
Yes, it did. Especially, God, I'm mad that you... Yeah, that's amazing, yeah. The redness of Suspiria, it totally ties in with this.
Yeah.
There's some synergy there.
But, so, we'll dive into the story. So, to give background on this movie, it's... Oliver's our main character. He's going to college, and he's got his eye on Jacob Elordi's character, Felix. Mm-hmm. He finds Felix with a pop tire, running late for class. He gives him his bike. They become friends.
Kind of a meet cute.
And, Oliver tells him about how he doesn't have a great relationship at home. Then his dad passes away. So, for summer break... Felix offers him to stay at Saltburn, which is where he lives with his family. One of my favorite parts of this movie is kind of that discovering of Saltburn, like getting introduced to it. So like him walking through the house and like, there's some out of pocket things here. Like Elordi goes, "I fingered my cousin right there," and then like and he's giving him this house tour.
It's like, this is the green room, this is the blue room.
Yeah, he's giving him this house tour and it's enormous. And then he starts walking through the house himself, and he's walking to. Or he sees the sister for the first time. She kind of gives like flirtatious eyes. Mm-hmm. It was just a wild discovery of this, estate.
And it seems overwhelmed, which we'll talk about how things are different towards the end. But you get the feeling that he's like overwhelmed, which I felt overwhelmed just watching it, especially after that. He meets the family for the first time. They're like diving in on like, well, why is your dad, your mom's a crackhead or whatever.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is that they're saying. And it's like, it seems like a very disorienting, like, I wouldn't know how to act in that house. What do I do?
Yeah.
Where do I go? What like, leisure time and whatnot? And especially, like, there's a scene where Jacob Elordi, it's a small moment, but he's talking to Barry Keoghan. He's like, I'm sorry about my family, whatever. I'll leave you some time to get settled. if you want to come hang out, I'll be in the library. I wouldn't find the library. How
Yeah.
the fuck is he supposed to find the library?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
The other part, to preface the story is he's going to the summer break, and you as a viewer know he has feelings for Felix.
It's pretty evident.
But Felix is obviously just friends with him because Felix, has a girlfriend back at school, is that player that can get any girl he wants. But you kind of get some flirtatious vibes from Elordi's character at the same time.
You definitely get the feeling that he feels... So he's kind of just reminds me of one of those characters that's like... He's like pansexual, like super about like... I don't have rules on what I do and don't do. Like if I feel like doing it, I'll do it.
But
and even like kisses him a couple times, like on the cheek, on the forehead, all kinds of stuff like that. But.
Continuing with the talk of the story, what happens in the second and third act? This might be one of my favorite stories. Like just when it comes to original screenplays, I hope this gets a nomination for original screenplay.
Me too.
Because it's one of those ones where like you've never seen it before.
Nothing. I genuinely feel like I have seen nothing like this movie before.
It's kind
I looked up after. It's in my search history. I looked up, is Saltburn based on anything? No, just completely original.
Yeah, and it's
wild.
It's a wild ride.
Oh boy, and there's also turns to be had.
There's unsettling stuff. I mean, it ends up getting to the point where Elordi's character obviously discovers that everything Keegan's character has said is basically a lie. And that leads to his death, and then the sister's death, and like they just start dropping like flies. Yeah, like it gets insane. And I would say my favorite part of this movie was the ending. And I loved this movie throughout, but the ending is absolutely buck wild.
It's like it almost kind of gave me like Ari Aster in the way that I felt dirty watching the ending.
A little bit.
Just really seeing like. This guy is not right. He's an actual sociopath.
Yeah.
And you already get that from the beginning because he very obviously doesn't know how to relate to other people.
Yeah.
I mean, he lies to get attention
Socially awkward.
From somebody and whatever. And then you find out it's like he's been playing you guys the whole time.
Yeah.
I mean, even the fact I saw all the stuff coming with like, he did something that, it led to Jacob Elordi's death. That didn't surprise me. What surprised me is that even their meeting for the first time and all those things that was all planned.
Yeah, everything, the ending is basically you find out everything he did to get to Saltburn was planned, and he killed all these people so he could have the estate, which leads to about a 5-minute little music video, basically, of Barry Keoghan dancing through Saltburn as he's now the owner, because the last person to pass was the mom, Elspeth, and he gets her to sign over the rights to him because he's convincing. He's almost looked at it like a son to the parents,
and he definitely seems like a broken. He's the duckling with with the broken wing or whatever.
Yeah.
It seems like that kind of thing where he has this whole sob story because he wants to be invited. And honestly, one of the most unsettling scenes to me is out of all the scenes, there were a bunch of scenes that had me like wince or had me be like, ooh, that's gross or whatever, which we'll get to some of those in a minute. But the one that actually kind of unsettled me a little bit is when Richard E. Grant sits him down and is like, man to man, how much money do you want? Please leave. You're ruining my life. You're ruining my wife's life, whatever. Yeah. And it's the fact that he just keeps pushing. He won't leave Saltburn.
No.
And even after he does, he's like, I got a plan.
Yeah.
It's absolutely buck wild. I also thought the only thing that surprised me, honestly, is that because Barry Keoghan makes advances towards everybody in the family.
Yeah.
And is pretty much successful by nearly everybody. Did you notice that he about fucked everybody in that house?
Yeah.
Except for the mom and the dad, and I guess Jacob Elordi. But I felt like he was close there, and I really think the mom was kind of thinking about it when he made that advance.
Yeah, I thought that too. I thought there was definitely sexual tension between them.
Especially at the end.
Yeah.
I think that's where I thought it was going to lead, is that they would rule Saltburn together. But he didn't even want her in the picture.
No.
He didn't care about her at all.
The biggest surprise is, like, going back to that last 5 minutes, I mean, you get Barry Keoghan butt-ass naked dancing for 5 minutes. I did not expect to see so much
dick.
Penis.
There's a lot of dick in there.
Yeah.
I see at the beginning, he does he does a lot of like the camera stays behind him, and then there's a couple times where he does a couple spins, but it's so fast it's like you don't see anything. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's probably how they're gonna play it, mostly from behind. It'll be quick flashes, whatever. Nah, he just straight up turns around a bunch and is like hacking and whatever. Also, another thing we need to talk about. There's a lot of funny stuff in this movie, actually.
Very funny movie.
It's
very
funny at times.
I thought that was probably, the ending was probably my favorite part of the movie, but I would say very well written. Very well written dialogue, comedy, everything about it was very well written.
It seems rewatchable, honestly. I don't know about you. I feel like I want to rewatch it.
And that's why I mean by, I hope that... I think... There's a case for this winning, but it definitely deserves to be nominated for Best Original Screenplay because it was written so well.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. And it was even the way that they rate Archie, I kind of got the sense of he seems more jealous than anything.
Yeah.
Not that he hates Barry Keoghan. He looks jealous of Jacob Elordi.
Yeah.
And I think it kind of shines through at the end that he's just being spiteful because it's like flirting.
Yeah.
The way that he treats him like crap.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. I mean, even the sister I could expand and talk about each character for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
But especially, obviously, Barry Keoghan's gets the most in-depth look on him, and I don't even know how to feel about that guy, man.
Yeah.
So strange.
Yeah, there's not much to complain about with this movie.
Moving on to the middling mess stuff to the bad. I don't know what I got. I can't.
Yeah, let's head to the mess. So for the mess, for me, I would say some of the unsettling scenes. Not that they weren't bad. They made the story move along very well. But God,
a little.
Did they go the full 9 yards? They have him drinking some male bodily fluids out of a bathtub after Jacob Elordi gets out. Then what does he say? This is probably my favorite line from the movie. Mm-hmm. It's your lucky day I'm a vampire or something like that.
Oh, when he's the sister.
But he goes down under on Venetia. When it's
not a good time.
Not a good time of the month. But it all made sense. It all fit within the story. It all fit within the plot. But man, they didn't hold back.
Yeah, it was a little brutal. It's definitely something that I'm like, no way in hell I will ever watch this around certain people.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's more of a med that kind of kills it audience-wise for some people.
There's definitely now a vibe to you can watch this under specific circumstances. With a girlfriend, sure. With a buddy, sure. Watching it with 6 of your dudes who are rowdy, don't.
The crazy part is who we got to watch this movie with. We walk into the theater and my great aunt and great uncle are sitting there. So we sit with them, and in my defense, I had seen the trailer once, didn't know much what this movie was about. And some of those scenes, I was just surprised Aunt Karen was giggling. I was like, I think they're funny, but I'm glad I don't look immature,
I definitely sat there kind of having a little bit of secondhand embarrassment. How are you watching this with my aunt or with your aunt?
Yeah, definitely an odd.
Not the vibe.
No, they kind of enhanced the theater experience though. They
did.
A
little bit. Actually, you know what? Those people specifically, they were like, oh yeah, we love that. We love Wolf of Wall Street. It's like, okay, you're not afraid to be like, oh, there's nudity. It happens.
Yeah.
It's a movie.
The comments and the giggling definitely I thought were fun. And a theater of 6, being two strangers, us two, and then my aunt and uncle was the last thing I expected.
So fun looking. I watched Thanksgiving the other day with a friend of mine named Emmy, and I told her straight up, because she apologized. She was like, I know I get tense, and you can probably see me on the corner of your eye. And I was like, no, I appreciate it. Because sometimes it enhances, when a scene is tense, it's it just makes me feel a little bit more tense and on edge. And that's sure. It enhances the experience, so that makes sense.
Yeah, but it was a fun watch with them. I'll say that.
It was a fun time. That movie was, I don't care what the circumstances are for that day, if I'm having a good day, bad day. I wasn't having the best day. I wasn't having a bad day, but I was having the best day. But the movie's just so good. You can't help but just get into it.
Yeah.
And that's what I needed.
As for the bad, I thought the grave scene was a little extreme.
Much. A little much.
Where after Jacob Elordi's character dies, Barry Keoghan gets butt naked and starts basically
having sex,
consummating with a grave with
yes.
a pile of dirt. that's covering a grave.
And especially, like, later, whenever you get to reveal that this was all planned and whatever, it does feel a little... And I get the idea is, like, he's a sociopath, so it's like, you know, he chose this even though he may not have wanted to somewhere in his heart or whatever.
Yeah.
But there's still kind of a feeling of, like, you're really shocked that you want to put your dick in the grave now that he's dead?
Yeah.
Like, you knew this was coming, dude.
Yeah.
You've set it up.
Yeah. But there's really not much else to complain about.
The only other thing I can remember being like, crap. And this might just be me, just being an idiot. But the last scene we get of the sister, whenever she's in the tub talking to Barry Keoghan, there were a couple things that she said. I don't know if they were whispery or what, but I just could not figure out what she was saying. So I missed some parts of dialogue every now and then.
She was basically talking about the funeral, how she looked at Barry Keoghan's character and saw him crying. And she felt bad for him and then realized it's only been 6 months. And so she started laughing.
She's like, why do I feel bad for you?
Why do I feel bad for you? You didn't know him at all. Which was kind of crazy, and that whole scene was crazy. It's just...
Then it ends with, like, they end up kissing, she pulls away. Then we find out later that after he kisses her, he leaves 2 razor blades there and then walks out, and then she's...
That's my favorite part of this movie is... I keep saying that about everything. Like, the ending...
Dude, there's a million things I love about this movie. It's amazing.
Another thing I love about this movie... That's my favorite part. Another thing I love about this movie is... It's the perfect case of don't let them know where you're going with it next.
Oh, boy, and did they... do a good job of that.
They
Great
did a
job.
Really good job of that. And that's what keeps you engaged the entire runtime.
Honestly, one of my favorite scenes that I keep coming back to is the scene that we were talking about where you have the red lighting and they're moving the body.
Yeah.
Jacob Elordi's body and all this. Because in that scene where they're having that dinner, you get an idea of the dynamics in that house and how broken it is. And also I think the point of it, too, is, like, they're rich, so they feel, like, out of touch with, like, reality, being regular people.
For sure.
But it's just the fact that, like, the dad's yelling at everybody to sit down and to pretend nothing's happening and eat.
Yeah.
Barry Keoghan's going along with it later on because you find out that he was the one who did it, so he's kind of expecting it. But also, even if he didn't do it, I still believe he probably would have done that same thing because he thought that's what he had to do.
Yeah.
And, you know, the sister's a mess. Archie's, you know, freaking out. I mean, it's something about that scene is just it's so enjoyable just to watch how insane it is.
I was kind of surprised to see it was a 2 hour and 15-minute runtime after watching because it felt quick.
Honestly.
That's how good of a watch it was that it didn't feel like 2 hours.
It's it's one of those movies that I almost feel like it would be hard to explain to somebody what happens in it because there's no action. There's not really a lot of major story beats, but it feels like every moment is like you just don't know where it's going.
Yeah.
You said that before, and I love that about that movie. This is one movie where I was totally fine just letting go and being like, I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I love movies like that.
For sure.
Where I get to just do that.
So we kind of turned the bad into our final thoughts, but let's go with our final thoughts and rating out of 10 of Saltburn.
Yeah, man. God, final thoughts this is just... Honestly, since you started Fast Times at Willy, since we started doing Movie Mag, this has to be... TMNT Mutant Mayhem's probably number 1. But it's honestly at a close tie with this movie. This movie might be my favorite movie since then. So it might be better than Mutant Mayhem, but it's just... Like, it's shot well. It looks well. The score, you saw me pull out my phone a few times during that movie.
Not just the score, but
I was Shazamming the soundtrack and the score. Both.
I was going to say, we got a little bit of MGMT action, man. You know, I'm always...
There was MGMT
Time to Pretend is one of my favorite songs of all time. And as soon as that started playing...
Wasn't that during the party sequence or something?
No, it was during the scene where they're laying in the field naked.
That's when it is.
Yeah.
Yes, one of my favorite scenes where... Yep.
Yeah. And... I mean, once I heard the little I can't imitate it, but like,
yeah.
And then it's bam, I'm like, oh, dude, I literally tapped him like, this is Time to Pretend. Yeah.
It always brings me back to that Spider-Man Homecoming stuff, honestly.
Yeah.
Can't not, right?
Yeah. And then, we get a lot of, you said it, the score is great, but we also get a lot of great commercialized music as well.
It was terrific. And honestly, You know, it didn't really have a time period or anything like that, so I didn't really have a vibe for it. But whenever the MGMT did come on, I was like, oh, this makes sense for this. I don't know why, but it does. But it sounded great. Everybody's acting was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Directed amazing. Again, cinematography might be my favorite thing about. There's a million things to love about this movie. Honestly, I'm sitting at a 9.5.
Okay.
Right now, because it could go up to a 10, honestly.
Yeah.
I want to rewatch it. I'm going to buy it. It could go up to a 10, 9.5 right now.
Yeah, for me, I'm probably sitting at a 9 right now. Mm-hmm. And I think on a second watch, it has the capability of going up.
I don't think it can go down, actually.
No, I don't think so either. It's just one of those movies that...
Yeah.
It's almost a pick-me-up, too, like, because of the comedy.
Yeah.
Like, yes, it has a sinister turn at the end, but... It's so enjoyable throughout that it's like...
fun to be had.
Yeah. I mean, if I can laugh and have fun with this movie sitting with my aunt and uncle at the movie theater, and it's not awkward, I think this is a movie that anyone can give a swirl.
Like even
now, like I said,
yeah.
Disclaimer: there is some balls to the wall shit in this
literally.
movie. But, yeah.
Damn near literally.
But if you're okay with, that, this is a movie that you would love.
Yeah, you need to watch it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Even with scenes like what you were talking about, with it being a pick-me-up and whatnot, like scenes where like Farley's really sad and he can't do dinner and he wants to leave and whatever. Something about that is kind of funny. Even though it's still sad, there are funny things about that. They're all just trying to pretend like their brother isn't dead. You're right, yeah.
Yeah, dude, the 2 minutes that they play, Time to Pretend, it's kind of like a little montage part of the movie where they're like flashing through some fun of the summer. That alone, throw that on and I'm in a better mood.
Oh yeah,
great song, fun clips. Mm-hmm. You can't beat it.
There's a lot of moments of them just kind of making the most out of the place that they're at, the setting that they're at, the resources that they have in hand, and it definitely there was definitely a moment or two I was like, man, I just want to go out and do some of that stuff now.
I want to go to Saltburn.
I want to go to Salt. I will never, if that place is real, which it might be. I don't know. I'm never visiting that place.
Why?
It just sounds awful. After watching that, I'm like, does that place actually have bad juju? I'm not messing with it.
What if we go together?
I have to kill you. Or you have to kill me.
Or Barry Keegan goes with us.
That might be worth it.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Barry Keegan, if you're listening, we'd like to go to the real Saltburn with you.
Please, take us to Saltburn with you. Don't do weird stuff with our bath time stuff, but,
We'll have a different bathroom.
We have to get separate bathrooms from Barry.
Yeah. I call the master. Come on. But that'll do it for Saltburn, man. Thanks again, Kory, for coming on.
Anytime, brother.
Again.
I'll be here every time.
My second half when it comes to Movie Mag. Check that out, patreon.com/themoviemag.
Yes, please. We'd love to
see
you.
New issue coming out. Comes out the first of every month.
If you like this, you'll have to like that.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. It's from the same creators.
Yeah. Sometimes. So have a lot of fun writing and doing some fun stuff in the back half of the magazine, highlighting local art. It's all for fun and for the love of cinema. Mm-hmm. But again, thank you guys all for checking out our Saltburn review. If you like what you see, please subscribe, like, comment. Let us know what you thought of the movie Saltburn. And we will hopefully talk to you all soon. Have a great day and peace.
Catch you later, guys.